Hey everyone, it's Mark David Heiser from Daddy Did You Win, and as you know, we are right now in the middle of January, which here in Northern Indiana means it is cold. And you know what? We all have to take care of ourselves while we're running. So I'm going to talk to you today about running attire, what you should wear, how you should dress for winter, especially for those of you who are new to winter running. What should you think about and what should you wear? Let's go. So dressing for those winter runs, it can be tricky. You want to make sure you're warm enough, but at the same time, you don't want to get too warm. And so you really have to think about ahead of time, what am I going to wear for my run? You also have to think about wind. How are you going to protect yourself from that? The rule of thumb that I go by is dress like it's 20 degrees warmer. So let's say, for instance, it's 30 degrees and you're going to go out for a run. When you're getting dressed and everything, think about how you would dress if it were 50 degrees and you weren't running, you were just hanging out outside, all right? So what would you wear? So I'm going to kind of go through a couple of things that I usually do, what I think about, and we'll go from there. First of all, no matter what the temperature is, you're going to be dressing in a little bit of layers at least. So one thing you're going to need, first of all, is your base layer. Basically what I do, just a t-shirt, first thing that goes on. Obviously we all have our running shirts, at least most of us who've been running for a while, we have our race shirts. This is where most of my old race shirts go to. So base layer is number one thing you got to put on. On top of that base layer, you need something a little thicker that's going to keep you a little warmer during these cold months. Now, lately here in Northern Indiana, at least for me, it has been getting pretty cool right now. I think the wind chill this morning when I went out for my easy 3-mile run was about 15 degrees. And so what I did was I put on this thicker Under Armour. It's a long sleeve. It does offer me quite a bit of warmth for what I need. But for most of my cool runs, anywhere between 35, let's say, and down to probably about 10 or so, this is about what I need for my runs. And so this, like I said, it's a little thicker. It is by Under Armour. My wife screen printed this, so don't worry about that. You're not going to find that in stores or anything. But just kind of give you an example that this is something that you'll need for your warmer run, or for your colder runs, I'm sorry. Top of that, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. If there's not much wind or anything like that, and it's about in the mid-20s, to mid-30s, I usually just go with one more layer, and it's not very thick, but it's just a vest. This vest, it keeps my core warm, a little bit warmer than what I need on my arms, because my arms are always moving back and forth, so they're keeping warm that way. But my core is what really needs to get more warmth, and so I love wearing vests in the cooler morning runs. I feel protected all the way around my body. Like I said, the core is the main focus on this. And so other colder mornings, like maybe when the wind chill, like today, was down to 15 degrees, I need something a little bit more than a vest. But I don't want a really thick layer. All I want is just a simple jacket. This is not a thick jacket whatsoever. There is no liner on the inside. You can even see the logo on the front of this. I picked this one up at Monumental Marathon a couple years ago. It's just a simple jacket, front and back. It does have the reflective strip on the back, which is really nice. I'll get into this more later. But this basically just is enough to protect me from the wind. If I can protect my core from the wind, my body temperature is going to stay perfectly fine. I'm still even going to sweat a little bit underneath there. And that's one of the reasons for that base layer, is to keep the moisture closer to your body rather than going through to the outer layers of your clothing, because if your outer layers get cold, that means the rest of your body is going to get wet. I'm sorry. If the outer layers get wet, the rest of your body is going to get cold from that. And I'm going to get into that also more later. Now, for the mornings to get really cold, such as 15 degrees with the wind chill or colder, I do like to have an extra jacket on hand. This one, once again, I got this one at Monumental a few years back as well. And it is actually, while it's not lined very well, it's not very well insulated, just the fabric itself, this is even better at blocking the wind, and it actually keeps me very warm in the winter as well. And as you can probably tell, it is completely reflective all the way around. So once again, morning runs, it's still dark. I'm protected, 1, from the wind, 2, from oncoming traffic. They easily see me wearing this jacket. Now, of course, when we're talking about running, we got the upper core part of your body pretty well covered there. Now we got to move on to the lower part, and that is your legs. Okay, so I'm a little different than a lot of people, but as long as the temperature is above like 15 to 20 degrees, I try to wear shorts as much as possible. Like I said about the arms and the vest, my arms are constantly moving. They're keeping warm. Same thing goes for the legs. You'll be cold right away to start, but once you get going, your legs will warm up and they'll be good to go. So what I like to wear are my compression shorts. These particular ones are CEP. I have been wearing these. I got these actually on clearance at Fleet Feet, our local Fleet Feet store. These have become my favorite ones. 2XU also has a good pair of compression shorts as well. But right now, these are what I'm wearing, CEP. I go for whatever I can find on sale. They work very well. But as we all know, at times the temperature can get a lot colder. You need something. Once again, like I said, once it gets below 15 degrees, I go for the compression tights. Keep your legs warm. You gotta be, I know I prefer wearing shorts all the time, but you also gotta be smart. You gotta be safe. So having a good pair of compression tights is key also for these winter runs as well. Like I said, your legs are moving, but at the same time, we don't want to be stupid. We don't want frostbite or anything like that, especially when we get really, really cold. So you got to keep yourself protected, both your core and your legs, all the extremities. Keep them protected as much as you can. So a good pair of running tights are essential to make it through the winter running. Core, we've gone through the legs, which is the main part we usually think about, but we have got to think about our hands and our feet as well. So first off, with the feet, a good pair of running socks for the most part is all you're going to need. These are by Feetures. They're a good pair of running socks that I like. I still only go up to the ankle because more than likely, if it gets really cold, I'm going to have tights. The rest of my legs are going to be fine. So Feetures makes a great sock as well. But if it gets really cold, I don't like wearing multiple pairs of socks. I know some people do, but I don't like to do that. So what I have here are a pair of Smart Wool socks. They are a thicker sock. They're going to keep your toes cold. More than likely, your feet aren't going to get that cold while running. It's your toes. They're the ones that are right up next to the mesh of your shoes. Also, they're the first ones to get wet from puddles or snow if you're running through snow as well. So a good pair of wool socks does the trick as well. As far as your hands go, I have two options that I really like. One is the gloves that are made by Boco. These are great. There are a couple options on these. One, you of course have your standard glove like this, but then also if it gets too windy, you can flip this up and you have almost like a mitten, but not quite. Your fingers are still separated, but it does offer a level of protection as well. And it does offer protection from snow and stuff, so it doesn't just melt in your hands and go right straight to your fingers as well. The other option is, and I've reviewed these just recently, are the turtle gloves. This is straight up mitten, but with once again the opportunity to take off the convertible tops and expose your fingers as well. Both these are great options. It's about finding out what's best for you and what you like best. But besides the clothing options that you have, there are a couple other things I want to tell you about as far as winter running and just give you some tips on how, what is best for winter running. One, go run into the wind first. Okay, so the issue is if you run with the wind to your back at the beginning, if you can help it, avoid this, because what you're going to do is you've got your layers on. You're dressed for the temperature. But if you run with the wind to your back, that means you're probably overdressed at this point because you're sweating. And so when you do that, you sweat in the first half of the run, then you turn around and you run into the wind. That wind is going to hit your body and hit everywhere that you are sweating, and especially in the front half, and it's going to be very cold. And so my recommendation, and I think what most runners would suggest you do, is run with the wind in your face at the beginning, and then allow yourself to sweat on the way back. You're going to get sweaty, of course, but you're not going to have that cold air hitting the core of your body and hitting that sweat, and it's not going to be as cold on your second half of your run. All right, so we've gone through everything except for covering up your head. Now, for me, that's very important. I don't have any hair up here, so covering up my head is very important. The one thing I always go towards is my Boko beanies. These things are great. They provide warmth. This one's actually reversible, so we have more of a smooth outer coat here, but also inside it's thicker. It's almost like a fleece on the out on this side, on the blue side. And so I have kind of the option of which side I like to wear. Honestly, I don't need the fleece as much. And so the cooler side here, the black side, is what I prefer to have on my head the most. So usually it gets worn like this. Boko has a wide range of beanies that you can choose from. You can check out their sites. Also Fleet Feet Sports, if they're in your area, they typically have them as well. If it gets really cool and you need something to cover more of your face as well, get yourself a neck gaiter. Once again, this is another Boko product here that I tend to go with as well when I need a gaiter. Basically, there are several ways of wearing them. I mean, you can even wear this as your hat in the winter. This is just kind of one of the ways that I wear it. If I need something this is not as thick as a beanie, but if you just need something like that, that's not as warm or anything, that's a good way of wearing it. But at the same time, if you need something just to cover your face a little bit, obviously masks are required everywhere where you're inside, especially. And so wearing it just like as a standard mask like you would inside right now, it helps keep the cold air from going into your lungs as well, but it also keeps your face covered from the cold wind, especially as we dip below zero. So that's the gear that I usually go with when I'm going out for a run. It's that simple. You don't have to really bundle up so much that you feel like you can't bend your arms. If you're familiar with the Christmas story, when Randy falls down in the snow, his mom's got him in this big coat and he can't get up. You don't need to do that. Basically, like I said, you want to be able to feel comfortable if it was 20 degrees warmer and you weren't running. That's a standard that most runners go by, and that's what I've always tried to implement in my winter running. Next tip I have for you is that, when you get home right away, you kind of don't want to do anything after you're done running. All right, sometimes you just don't want to get cleaned up right away. You just want to relax for a second. My suggestion, get those running clothes off as soon as you can. Hop in that shower. Don't get a hot shower. That's going to sting. But get your body temperature back to normal. Because what you're going to do is if you just stand around in sweaty clothes, your body temperature is going to just fluctuate, especially since you stopped running. It's not pumping blood as fast. It's not keeping you warm as fast. And you got those wet clothes on you. They're wet and cold. Which can lead to sickness as well if you don't take care of it right away. So get the wet, sweaty clothes off of you. Get into a warm shower, not a steaming hot shower. Like I said, you're going to sting. It's going to sting. But get yourself cleaned up right away. Get the sweat off. Get warm. Make sure that your body temperature is where it needs to be when you finish up. Lastly, I want to touch a little bit on being safe right now. Obviously, right now we're in the middle of winter, which means shorter daylight hours. And so most of our runs right now are happening when it is dark. For instance, for me, I go out to run roughly around 7 a.m. We're not expecting the sunrise until close to 8. So it's still dark when I am out running. One thing that we all need to do better is being more reflective. And that goes for me too. I have strips. These are from Brilliant Reflective. And they are either a stick-on, which are these, or an iron-on. And you can just put these on your clothes anywhere. and I need to do a better job of that as well. But these, I've done a product review video on Brilliant Reflective in the past, and they do a great job of just bouncing the light off of you. I will link that video down below for you to check out. But it's better to be seen obnoxiously with reflective gear than it is to not be seen and potentially get hit by a car. Just the other day, last week, I was on the sidewalk even, and someone did not see me. They were turning into a business that wasn't even open yet. I thought I was safe, but they were turning into this business and they did not see me. And if I didn't notice them, they probably would have hit me, because I noticed that they were not stopping, and I stopped myself before I got into the intersection. So, people aren't always going to notice you even when you think they should. So better to be safe than sorry. Get reflective gear. Also, headlamps, not a bad idea, as well as handheld lights of any kind. So with all that being said, make sure that you do what's best for you as far as clothing and also as far as your safety. We've had so many runners get hurt by traffic or get killed, and I think most of us are sick of hearing about those stories. So just be safe out there on the roads. And enjoy the winter, though. This is my favorite time of the year, actually, to run. I prefer running in the cold weather over the hot weather, but at the same time, we got to do it safely. So if you'd like this video, please make sure you like it. Comment below what kind of strategies that you use. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a great day. We'll see you guys next time.